Tell me you don't miss that.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2025 action comedy Eenie Meanie. The film is written and directed by Sean Simmons and it stars Samara Weaving. We've got Carl Glusman, Andy Garcia and Steve Zahn. Now the film focuses on Samara Weaving's character, Edie. She also goes by the name of Eenie Meanie. Now she used to be a getaway driver a few years ago as a teenager. She was a very, very gifted driver, and she was taken advantage of in her youth and used as a getaway driver. She's tried to reform herself. She's trying to live a straight life. However, her chronically useless boyfriend, John, owes a local gangster, played by Andy Garcia, $3 million. He offers them a chance to get him his money back by completing a casino heist. Essentially, there is a car stationed in the casino with $3 million in the boot of the car. It's a prize, and they are tasked with stealing this car. She resists at first, but realizes if she doesn't help, her boyfriend John, or ex-boyfriend John, is basically going to be killed. So she has no choice but to help. What transpires is quite a lot of chaos, quite a lot of skidding and driving and action, and quite a few screw-ups. Right, what are my thoughts on Eenie Meanie? Well, this interested me for a number of reasons. It looked like it had some decent production values. I like sometimes a little bit of a surprise, in a sense of, one of these films that's probably going to fly under a lot of radars, but can turn out to be a little bit of a hidden gem. I like Samara Weaving. I think she's very, very talented. I think she deserves probably she seems like she's been on the verge of breaking into the mainstream now for quite a while, but never really is voiced in like the top actresses in Hollywood. And I think she really does deserve that breakout role. She's been working hard for a few years now. So there were quite a lot attracted me to this. Decent idea, decent concept. It's not nothing particularly original. It's not nothing we haven't seen before, but it can sometimes be a comfortable watch, films like this. And the film itself, while it is not what I would describe as one of 2025's hidden gems or anything like that, but it is actually a perfectly watchable and entertaining film at the same time. With some pretty memorable characters, if I'm honest. We've got, obviously, Samara Weaving playing Edie. Plays the character very, very well. She's kind of backed into a corner. She doesn't have a choice. And she does really, really well in the role. You know what I mean? She's carrying the film on her shoulders for the most part. And she does a really good job being a leading woman here. And then you've got Carl Glusman, who I can honestly say I can't remember seeing him in a great deal. I'm sure I have, but nothing sticks out in my mind. And he plays this complete and utter loser, really, who can't do anything right. He's a complete and utter screw-up, but he also manages to be incredibly charming at the same time, and very likeable at the same time. And without Edie's support, he is basically useless. He just can't manage on his own. He's an absolute screw up, and she's the only one that can keep him on some kind of balance, sort of thing, even though he still screws up when he's with her. He's a walking time bomb, really, in regards to catastrophes. And even Andy Garcia playing this character Nico, this mob boss, it could have been played in a very one-dimensional way, very, very threatening. But it's not played like that. He's actually got a lot of affection for Edie. He's the one that names her Eenie Meanie. They've known each other a long time. He respects her. And he is, in a lot of ways, very, very fair. But he's also, at the same time, someone that if you cross, you won't live to regret it, sort of thing. So he's not like the textbook mob guy, do as I say or you're going to die sort of thing. It's a much more layered character, an interesting character, and that's one of the strongest points of the film is the characters are interesting and they are, you kind of go on a journey with them and you're kind of on board with it. The comedy here is a bit of touch and go. It's not what you would call like typical comedy, slapstick comedy. It is sometimes the situations and scenarios that the characters find themselves in, sometimes the stupid stuff that this John character does. It's other bits and pieces like that. That's where a lot of the comedy comes from, but it's not side-splitting traditional comedy. It's quite light throughout the film, really. It doesn't... it's just sprinkled it enough with a few bits of comedy here and there, but like I say, it doesn't seep into the rest of the film. The action here mainly consists of lots of car driving, lots of car chases, a bit of gunfights here and there, and the driving and the car chases are all done very, very well. They're all done to a strong, high standard that kind of, keep you interested. Apparently as well, I think Samara Weaving, from what I was reading, learnt to drive for this film. And now I'm not saying she did all the stunt driving, because I'm sure she didn't do any of it really, but she learnt to drive for the part. And that's really where you get most of the action, really, with this film. It's not even either what you would describe as a heist film. When people start talking about, stealing 3 million from a casino, in this car, you're kind of thinking, oh, they're going to plan a heist. And it's not even as complex as that. It is basically as simple as she needs to get in that car. They'll make sure there's fuel in it. And she just has to basically steal it and drive off. So it's not even what you would describe as a heist film or anything like that. If that's what if you're not into heist films, or if you think it's been done to death, casino heists, it doesn't really work like that. And it actually finishes with almost a little bit of heartbreak, to be honest. It kind of pivots a little bit at the end. And I actually appreciated that. It gave what could only really be described as a grounded and interesting finale to the film. And I always appreciate that. I mean, sometimes these films are very tempted to go down the easy, simple, happy ending sort of thing, and this doesn't do it. It kind of gives you an ending that you kind of walk away thinking, well, yeah, I could actually believe that. I could believe that that's the way this film would particularly end. So, yeah, I mean, it's nicely made. It's decent enough. It's an above average film with some good talent in front and behind the cameras. It's got good production values. It's got good action, good car driving, and car speeding and racing and all that kind of stuff. And it's got a couple of interesting characters as well that you can kind of get behind. So yeah, Eenie Meanie was a pleasant watch as far as I'm concerned. So that's my thoughts on Eenie Meanie. Let me know if you've seen it or if you're planning on seeing it, and I will of course be back with more content on the channel very, very soon.